Hi, everyone. Welcome to week 7. This week, we're going to talk about phonics and word study lessons. Now, we know that we can teach phonics and word study in isolation, but the most powerful way to teach phonics and word study is through our curriculum. We're teaching it through picture books, through poetry, during shared reading, guided reading, in our literature circles, in connection with the students' writing, through social studies and science. We can talk about words throughout our instruction all day long, not just during language arts. So, okay, how are we going to plan for this phonics and word study instruction? How do we do that? Well, the first thing we do is we're going to look at the data that we've collected from assessments, from writing samples, from anecdotal notes. We're going to look at the information that we have about our students. An example of a phonics word study lesson could be if you have studied consonants and vowels, and as you're looking at the student writing, you realize that they need to be taught about silent letters. So that's going to be my principle. Identifying silent letters. And I'm going to tell the children, because they're going to need to know this principle in these exact words. Some words have consonant letters that are silent. And I'm going to use that academic language, consonant letters. They need to know that. Once I have determined my principle, then I'm going to think, all right, how am I going to teach this? How am I going to explain this to my students? Well, I could begin with an anchor chart. Now, when I talk about this anchor chart, this is going to be my mini lesson. 5 to 8 minutes at the most. 10 minutes and you lose them. So you want that mini lesson to be brief and to the point. So I've already told them my principle, that some words have consonant letters that are silent. Then I'm going to talk about this part of our anchor chart. This is the word lamb, crumb, thumb. What do you notice about these words? And I'm going to give them some think time. Then I would say, yes, they each have a B at the end that you don't hear when you say the word. Some words have letters that you don't pronounce. So then I could put a B up here because that's the silent letter. I could repeat this with this group of words for the silent K at the beginning of the word. We could talk about the silent L in the words walk and calf. And then I'm going to explain that they're going to be doing a two-way sort, sorting words with silent letters and words without silent letters. A very simple two-way sort. So that's my mini lesson. Then I'm going to give them time to apply what we've talked about. I'm going to give them the word cards to complete the two-way sort. I'm going to tell them the words. So they have them in their heads. So then they're going to be sorting the words. Then they're going to write the words in 2 columns in their word study notebooks. And they circle the silent letter in each word. Then they read the list to their partner. At the end, we're going to have a share time where the students can share a word with a silent letter, and we can add it to our anchor chart that we started with. Very simple lesson for phonics and word study. And you can repeat the same lesson with other patterns. If during your read aloud, children are noticing words that have silent letters, write those on your anchor chart. During shared reading, use highlighter tape and highlight those words with silent letters. During guided reading, give the students a Post-it note and have them write down words that have silent letters as they're reading. Very simple, nothing complex. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel here. At the beginning of this course, you were asked to give a spelling inventory from Words Their Way, word study for phonics, vocabulary, and spelling instruction. That text has many, many word study lessons in it. So if you do not have that on your professional shelf, it's one I highly suggest. So by the end of this week, you will use knowledge from the assessments that you've already given to plan a phonics word study lesson. You're going to be able to explain the principle in student language. Then you're going to design a phonics word study lesson using the Teach, Apply, Share model, which is what I just went through. You'll also be working in your forums. All right. Here is the template for your plan. What is it as a teacher I need to understand about this principle? The next step is you're going to explain it in student language. This is your mini lesson. Think about what materials do you need? Do you need an anchor chart? Do you need a poem on chart paper? Do you need a read aloud? How are you going to demonstrate this principle for them? You're writing the principle down, and then your detailed steps. You're going to talk about how the children will apply the principle that you've talked about in your mini lesson, and then how you will share it. Now, you also need to link this to one of our standards. If you have any questions, please email me. I want you all to do well. This is the rubric that I will use to grade your plan. Look at the exemplary column. This is what we're shooting for. The content of your lesson. Does it use effective methods to develop understanding of specific word study principles, patterns, or strategies? Is it grade level appropriate? Please make sure you put on there what grade level this lesson is for. I neglected to put that on there when I revised it, so please make sure that you include the grade level. You should have a strong objective based on Common Core standards or the Ohio Learning Standards. You need to make sure that it's measurable. You're going to talk about the evaluation. How are you going to measure whether the students understand the principle or not? It has to link back to the objective. The assessment and the objective are related. To be exemplary, you need a comprehensive list of needed materials and attach them when you submit your plan. And if you're reading a literature book, please make sure you include the title and the author of the book. Don't just say, I will read a children's literature book. No, I want specifics, details. Make sure that your procedures are clearly written with details. Include that hook and closure. Allotment of time. And if you have any modifications or extensions for students that need them. I'm going to be looking at, do you have an interesting hook that leads into your mini lesson? Are the students, are they having varied activities? If you have anchor charts, are they creative and visual for the students? Reading assignment this week is to look at lesson planning websites. Read, Write, Think is a great source for you guys to look at. Again, there's your template. Here's the rubric. There is no lab assignment that you're going to submit this week, but please make sure that you have 10 hours of face-to-face work with your student and 10 hours of prep time and research. This week, your forum is your word study lesson plan. If you choose to, you may use the MVNU lesson plan form or the one that I've included with this week. Either one is fine. Please make sure when you submit your final word study lesson that you include final in the subject. Week 8, of course, is your final project, the summation of our 8 weeks together. And if you want to submit a rough draft for that, you may, and I will look over it and get it back to you. If you have any questions about week 7, please ask me. I look forward to looking through your word study lesson plans. Thank you.